So it's always a good day when you get to open up one of these really long vintage Gibson guitar cases, and this one is no exception. So today we're going to be taking a look at a very rare 1960s Gibson guitar, and this one has a few mods that really don't make any sense. I'm having a hard time figuring out exactly which model this one is, so maybe through the video you guys can help me figure that out. But also I took the guitar out this morning, opened up the back control cavity, and on the other side of the back plate there was a little clue that could actually tell the whole story of this guitar. So we're going to get into that in just a moment. I'm also going to play the guitar. I'll put a timestamp up if you want to check that out. But first I want to talk about the history behind this instrument, and we can take a look at all the vintage goodness. So let's open it up. We've got 4 latches here on the front. Let's see what's inside. So there you have it. This is the real deal. This is a vintage Gibson Firebird that is now named the reverse model because they ultimately came out with a non-reverse. But this is the one that everybody wants. And this guitar came out in 1963. It was only made for a couple of years actually. They ended production around mid-65. I think some estimates are about 3,000 to 4,000 were actually produced. So really, how many are left in the world today? It could be half that are gone, destroyed, stolen. This one has survived, although it's been through a few changes in its life. Now, the Firebird was designed to be a radical new guitar, and it certainly was. It's a neck-through design. It had this sort of laminated neck with multiple pieces, and then the wings were glued on. So it's a very unique guitar that actually didn't sell well, and that's why Gibson redesigned it. This guitar has the original banjo tuners you will see on the back, which are a very unique look. And then you will also see on the back here a very faint serial number. So this is a refinished guitar, and the serial numbers were stamped into the headstock, but when they were refinished, a lot of times you will lose this little detail, and that is a real problem. So this really lends to the authenticity of the guitar to have this serial number. Now in the case, in this little compartment here, there was a post-it note that said 1964 152227. But when I look at the serial number, I see something different. It looks like 18227 to me. Either way, I think it could be between 63 to 64, depending on what that number is, actually. So moving on, we've got some other details here that, I can't really put my finger on. And we have to get into the history behind the different models to try to understand this. So there was a Firebird 1, 3, 5, and 7. And the Firebird 1 guitar that Eric Clapton played, for example, is a highly desirable guitar, although ironically it's the most bare bones model. So it's kind of like a Fender Esquire or a Les Paul Jr. It would have had a single pickup, basically just the lowest amount of features. The Firebird 3, you would typically get a vibrato tailpiece, you would have binding, and 2 pickups. And then up from there, you started getting 3 pickup models, gold hardware, the really long tailpiece. Now, what's strange about this guitar is that it has 2 pickups, as you will see, but it has no binding. This guitar, I can't find any clue of it ever having binding. So only the Firebird 1 model didn't come with binding. That is for sure. So I'll let you guys look and see if you can find any clues there, but I don't think this guitar ever had binding. In fact, it has dots on the side here that look factory to me, so I don't think those would have been there, and that lends itself to being a Firebird 1, which is a very, very valuable and rare guitar, if it indeed was a Firebird 1. So you would think we could just open up this second pickup here and see if the route job is factory. If it was, then we know it was some kind of modified Firebird 3. However, this one has been routed out for humbuckers and repaired. And in the light, you may be able to see what I'm talking about. So possibly we could get in there and look and see, and it could give us a better clue. Also, a Firebird 1 would have only had 2 knobs and a jack. So obviously we have 2 additional knobs here, but they were all routed out for the 4 pots. So I don't know that that's the best clue in figuring out what model this one was. So that just about covers it on the features of this one. I would love to hear what you guys had to say in terms of what do you think has gone on here with this guitar. But there's one more part to this story that I want to share with you guys, and that is something that's inside here. So let's check this out. Please forgive me for this. So I took this off this morning and I found something very interesting. So you can see there's this kind of silvery paint on the back, and that was a feature of these old birds. For whatever reason, they sprayed the backs with this like silver paint. I don't know if it was like shielding paint or what. So that's a good sign, actually, that this is the original plate to the guitar. But there's actually a little note in the back here, and I'll read it to you. It says Steve Badesky, and it has his address in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. And he also wrote a couple phone numbers there. So I thought I would leave a little bit of that private, but I'll show you guys. Maybe it'll show up in the video here. You can see Steve Badesky at the top. Now I did Google this address, and it is a legit address in Pennsylvania. It's still there. What I'm asking is if anyone has heard of a Steve Badesky in Pennsylvania, if you know him, if he's still alive, can anyone get in contact with him or his family? Maybe we can actually get the story to this guitar through this little message. And how cool would that be? Because tracing the lineage of these guitars is pretty much impossible. If anyone knows him, please get in contact with me. Drop me a comment, or I have my email in the little description box below if you want to shoot me an email. It would be so incredibly cool to tell the story of this original owner possibly on the channel. So please let me know if you have any information there. That pretty much sums it up on this one. It's either a 63 or 64 Firebird, and you know what? After all that being said, this is an incredible playing and sounding guitar. It really is. And the length of this thing and the tuners, the headstock, it all gives you a very different feel than anything else you've ever played. And I will say also, it's a very big guitar. It's very long. It's actually pretty lightweight. I've seen some that weigh up to 9 pounds or more. This one only weighs about 7.5 pounds. It's a very lightweight and resonant guitar. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. The neck pickup sounds incredible. So today I'm playing it through my 1964 Blackface Super Reverb, and we're just going to have some fun. So please, guys, drop a comment if you have any information on this one. I would love to hear from you. And thank you so much for listening today and tuning into these videos. It really means a lot. So let's go ahead and take a listen. This is the 1960s Gibson Firebird. Hey guys, quick message here before I leave. I just wanted to say that this is such a rare historical guitar, and it means a lot to me because some of my favorite players used these back in the day. Eric Clapton, Johnny Winter, Alan Collins of Lynyrd Skynyrd. And, you know, knowing that there's probably only a couple thousand of these left in the world today that still exist, it could be a worthwhile project to take this the extra mile and restore it the right way. The refinish on the guitar is very kind of plasticky and not period correct. And so I'm considering the idea of doing a full-on restoration with this piece. And I'll put up the custom color chart here because there were some very cool custom colors these guitars came in that, first of all, you can't even find them even if you wanted to pay the astronomical prices. So it would be worthwhile to do this one correctly. And if anyone out there has any experience doing Gibson custom colors, or maybe they know someone who would like to work with me on this channel, we could document it. That's something I'm really looking at doing, even though it kind of could be opening Pandora's box because likely there's a headstock break, I would assume. And then, you know, we have some repair work here, but I think it would be fun to do because actually if you go on Reverb right now and look, you can only find original examples and they're in the 10,000 plus range, maybe cheaper if they have a broken headstock, but I don't think there's any refinished examples because they just fly off the shelf, you know, because you take a refinish and it cuts off about half price, and so they just don't last. And this would be the only option out there on Reverb currently if I were to sell it, which I don't intend to. My point with all that being said is that it would be worth it to do this the right way. So my final point here, I'll leave you with this and I'll end the rambling. If you know Steve Badesky, please leave me a comment. Please email me. I would love to tell his story and this guitar story on the channel. And if you know anyone who would be interested in doing a very, very proper custom color refinish to this guitar, please let me know. It will be an undertaking to get this thing done, and I only want to do it right if I'm going to do it. That's everything for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and believe me, I just enjoy sharing these guitars and having an audience to do that with. It's just, I couldn't really imagine it. So to be here doing it, it's a dream, and I'm so thankful for you guys. So I will see you soon. Stay well. Peace.